everybody, and by everybody, I mean, I think it's just Mike Shaw right now. So Mike Shaw, hello. And anyone else who hasn't popped up yet on my viewer count. Thanks for joining us for me, it's this evening, but for my friend Matthew, the bold carnivore, it's not this evening, is it, Matthew?
No, it is not. It is morning over here.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, just getting that. Oh, okay, Dee's here. Hi, Dee. Nice to see you.
Hi,
so
Dee.
We got Dee in the house. We got Mike in the house. Mike. So nice to see you guys. Let me know anybody else who pops in when you pop in. There we go. Oh, look, Heidi. We have another person for Heidi. It is morning for Heidi as well.
Hello, Heidi. Well, she's saying good morning for us. It's actually evening for her because she's in the States.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I wasn't sure. Well, it's evening for me and morning for you. So you could just wish us all the times of day and we'll be covered. It'll be good. So I met Matthew, actually, the bold carnivore Matthew, I met pretty early on. Early on for me in my YouTuber, journey, because I looked back and we had a chat that we did. It wasn't a live. It was like a pre-recorded deal. And I look back and that was posted October the 1st on my channel. And I just went, holy cow, how did 3.5 months go by? And I haven't been able to chat with you. So I wanted to have you on and give you the old, interview.
Cool. Very cool. I'm up for it.
Yeah. Tell us who the heck you are and where you are in the world, what you do. Why we get along so well, and your health journey.
Okay, I will certainly give updates. Yeah. So for those of us what don't know, I am a teacher in Indonesia. Yeah, I teach English as a second language, and that's probably why Cristie and I get along so well. We're both from the same perspective as far as teaching is concerned. Yeah, and also carnivores. So there is that. So I'm about between 90 and 99% carnivore on most days. Yeah. And that's how I have put into remission a few health issues, including obesity. Let's just not sugarcoat that in any way. I was a hefty boy. Yeah. And I had some, I don't know whether that's what we call neuropathy or not, but I definitely had some nerve pain and nerve issues going through my left side. It was in my left arm, up in the shoulder, all the way down to the elbow and into my wrist. It was affecting my fingers. I couldn't feel properly through my left hand. And all of that has reversed by going to a carnivore lifestyle. I eat mostly beef and chicken and fish, and that's really pretty much it.
So when did you start a carnivore? How did you hear about this, this crazy diet, and what convinced you to give it a try?
Oh yes, this nuts diet. This is insane. This is the worst thing you could possibly do for yourself. Please stay away. Okay. Yeah.
More advice for me.
Disclaimers aside. Disclaimers aside. Yeah. Again, this is not medical advice for anyone, but if you are in fact overweight or sick or having any kind of autoimmune issues, this could help you out. So do give it a look. And now, how did I find out about it? Excellent question. Well, I started listening to some of the keto type doctors in the YouTube space, and I was following some of their older videos. And then say older because now I'm talking about Ken Berry, see, and he started out as a keto type doctor, right? And now he's transitioned to full carnivore. And some of his older stuff is keto, and then there's also Dr. Berg and such, and he's also more of the keto space. And I never really considered doing that particular diet until I was going to get married. And then we went to a keto-based lifestyle for a short period to lose weight. And that worked really well, right? But then we settled into married life and the regular standard fare and eating rice again and, Asian foods. And I packed on the pounds again. And that's when things started getting rough for me. It got heavier than I had ever been. And then we did another cycle of that and cut off the weight again. Then we just fell into our regular grind, and I got fatter and fatter and fatter. And I started watching the keto doctors and stuff again. But by then, a lot of them had gone full carnivore, right? And so just meat. No, I don't know. It's not, I don't know, right? And then I caught Dante from Fregno Freedom, right? And I watched his oldest videos, and like when he still had like the hair and stuff, and now it's like completely clean shape. But that was amazing watching him transform through the carnivore lifestyle, and then up to the lion diet. Now, wow, I backlogged a lot of his stuff, and then I started, really following him. And at the time, he was just transitioning to the full lion diet, and I caught up with that particular wave of his videos. And following him, and then Dr. Chafee, I just said, all right, I'm going to do that. But I didn't do a very good job of it. I didn't keep it clean enough, and I ended up making my system worse. Yeah. And that's when the nerve pains and stuff started, because I was not really paying attention to how much I was eating, or whether I was eating enough protein. Yeah, making sure that the fats and stuff were clean, and there we went. That's I had lost quite a lot of weight, but then I started losing a lot of muscle mass too, apparently, because I was feeling worse and worse. And so I went back to regular dieting, just eat whatever I wanted, and cakes for sure. Oh my goodness, cakes. Those are my favorite thing, And then I ended up not able to walk up and down stairs without severe shooting pains through my legs. And I was like, I've really got to do something. This is not working out for me. So I revisited all of those videos, and I said, oh, look, I'm just stupid. That's all. I'm doing it wrong. I'm not paying attention closely enough, and I'm not eating enough. And so I went back to it, and now I'm anywhere between, as I said, between 90 and 99% carnivore most days. And that's what solved it for me.
So when you did your carnivore reboot, Carnivore 2.0, how long ago was that?
This is my 9th month now. So,
okay.
Yeah. I don't keep track of every day, so sometimes I'm having to go.
Yeah, I don't either. Mainly because, like, everyone here probably knows, I just kind of accidentally went carnivore. So I just know it was sometime in June, but I don't like have a date where I like made the decision to do it. So I just have, like an approximation. So at that time, how much did you weigh, and are you continuing to lose? Have you hit any stalls along the way? Are you at your goal weight? Like, what's going on with that?
Well, excellent questions. No, I am not at my goal weight. I'll start there. And my goal weight is, at present, I'm going to get down to about 84 kilograms, right? And for those of us in the States, pounds. I'm going to try. So okay. For those of us in the States that don't do kilos, that's about 180-ish pounds, in that neighborhood, right? So that's what I'd like to be able to hit. I have not gotten there, but I think that's largely because of a lot of muscle exchange too. So I'm really kind of still in my usual weight range, which is anywhere between 90 and 88 kilograms, just about 200 plus or minus pounds. And it's okay. It's not bad. It's about 202, 204, something like that. It's not bad. And I feel pretty good, right? Yeah. I can still run up and down stairs. I can... I've joined martial arts again and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's not difficult. Yeah. Okay. What do we got? 168 plus 16.8. What do we have to?
Mike is giving us the equation. Right. Yeah. So Mike's
saying, oh, you're giving this. Okay.
And then he's like breaking it down for you, doing the math.
Okay, not math. I'm an English teacher. Don't do the math. Don't do it.
Yeah. And then that's 184-ish. I also would like to shout out Mike Shaw because he became a member of my channel, and I didn't get to shout him out when he did that. So thank you so much, Mike Shaw, for being my second channel member. I do appreciate that. So shout out there. Okay, so awesome. 184-ish pounds, according to Mike Shaw, is your goal. And you said 202 to 204, somewhere in there is where you are currently?
right in that neighborhood at the moment. Yeah. And I would like to be able to get lower than that, but I don't know that I'm going to, because I've always been a very solid fellow. So I don't know. Right. But I would like to try that. But as it is, I've just been exchanging fat for muscle anyhow. So maybe my body just really likes this weight. And so I'm not overly concerned.
Okay. And do you find yourself, like, how long have you been sort of sticking there? I'm curious about this because my weight is doing all kind of crazy stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. But how long have you sort of been sticking there at the 202 to 204 range?
Over the last 4 months.
Oh, a while.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but it may be that I just need to do some fasting cycles or something to break the ceiling. So I have no idea. I've been putting that into consideration, because if you can change your balance weight, then it really kind of sits there. It's a sticking point. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but my sticking point used to be quite a bit higher. It was at 220, and that's where my weight would bounce to, whether I wanted it to or not, until I started doing some fasting cycles and I got that down a little bit. Then it would go down to about 210.
Okay.
And
So you've done fasting in the past. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure. Yeah.
So
I've done several.
Like for you, do you do priming? Because like priming is something I've heard about in some communities where they prime first and then they fast. Some people don't do that. They just fast. Is it intermittent fasting? Is it longer periods? Like, how does that look?
Intermittent fasting is what I had been doing before, when I actually ended up with the nerve pain, right? And I think maybe that's just not really fit per se for me in all cases, because if I intermittent fast, then I'll eat one meal maybe a day, and then I'm not getting enough. So I don't know that my body's really fit for doing that.
Okay.
But it may be now. I don't know. I haven't tried that again. But usually what I would do is just day fasting, so 24-hour period, no eating, nothing. And then I have tried a couple of 3-day water only fasts, and that's usually where I get my best successes. It's just doing water only. I've done that a couple of cycles. Not hard to just do it. I don't really do the priming, but on occasion when I've done the 24-hour ones, I would do kind of micro prime. We would go out to a restaurant where you can just eat as much of meat as you want, and then the next day I just don't eat. And that's been effective.
Okay, so you found success with both of those methods, like with just the 24-hour fast and a 3-day fast, and you were able to do that? You were able to do 72 hours without white knuckling?
Yeah, no problem.
That's impressive. I can't do it, you guys. I can't do it. Tell me in the chat about your fasting experience. Here's the thing. I just did a 2-day fast, and I did it. I mean, I did it because I told Robin I was going to do it. I thought at one point I was going to pass out. Like, I was dizzy. I was starving. I was miserable. It was bad. Wow. And I think, some of it was, I think it was like a snowball effect of because I still do drink coffee. And so for this fast, I was still going to have coffee, but I was just going to have it black. But black coffee's gross. So I didn't have as much coffee. And then, I know, right? I know. He's laughing at me. That's why
I'm not laughing at you.
The buy butter emoji. Oh, sorry. I'm getting off track again. Mike does this to me. I made a buy butter emoji if you join my channel, and you can have access to that. Anyways, okay. So here's the thing. I only had a half a cup of coffee, and then I started to get a little caffeine headache, right? And I was hungry on top of that, and then I was queasy because of the headache, and then I didn't want to drink more coffee, and then the caffeine headache got worse, and then it was just like this snowball that just went downhill very fast, and it was kind of really bad. The first 24 hours, particularly so. The second 24, not as bad, but still pretty horrible. I've done 36-hour fasts in the past, and it's like white knuckling the whole time and feeling miserable. I don't know if I'm cut out for it, you guys. I don't know.
It's a very real possibility. Not everybody is per se cut out for it. It also may depend on your fat percentage and how well you adapt to using your own body fats. It may also be that you might want to consider a micro prime, or even priming largely before you go into your fast. How about you? Did you try any priming, or
I
you just
did.
go, well, I'm jumping in?
This time for this 48 hours, I did prime. I even did a short about it showing like all the things I ate. I ate 3 meals a day. I normally eat 2 meals a day, like a small meal and then a larger meal. And that's mainly based on my school schedule. So like it's kind of a pain when you're at school and you're, in this little window, you've got 45 minutes to eat. And I don't like to do a lot of, prep for that. So a lot of times it's, some hard boiled eggs and maybe some bone broth, because that's easy to do. And then I'll come home from work and have, like my big meal. But I will normally eat 2 meals a day. But for several days before my 2-day fast, I think for 4 days before, I ate 3 meals a day. So I don't know. I just, and the reason I wanted to try it is because, so I've just been putting on weight. So I don't know if I'm just one of those carnivores that needs to, there's a lot of carnivore women that like put on weight and then lose it again when their body figures out that it's not starving. But I thought I needed maybe to do a reset, because I'd been like, my eating window had gotten quite wide. And I thought maybe if I do like a 48-hour fast, like a reset, then I can get that eating window narrowed back down again. And so on. So, but I did it, but I don't think I'm doing it again anytime soon. It was pretty miserable. But I've got my eating window back to where I want it, which is like a 4-hour eating window and a 20-hour fasting window. Like that I can do without feeling like I'm about to pass out.
Have you considered the macros though? Being like, how much fat and protein are you actually taking in?
Yeah, so great question, Matthew. Do you like hey, in the chat, are you enjoying how we're interviewing each other? Because I think it's fantastic. Okay, so my macros, I am currently, and this is the other thing. So I interviewed Coach Bronson, and if you guys haven't watched that, he was dropping the knowledge bombs and like sneak previews to his new book and all this cool stuff. It was a great interview, but he made everything sound like super doable in terms of workouts. And then also like he said some things about macros that made a lot of sense. So like I've been doing that. So I'm done with my first week. Today's the end of my first week. Tomorrow is like the start of week 2. So he talked about a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. He talked about don't do percentages of things because your body doesn't know what that means. But he talked about doing a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, meaning your lean body starting at a starting point of your lean body mass in pounds, that many grams of protein and fat each day. The only caveat to that being if you're close to 100 pounds, don't be going under 100 grams of protein each day. So I started doing that. Like I jumped in, I started working out. I did his workout suggestions. Let me know if you want to know more about that. I'll talk about it. But specific to macros, I started trying to get at like a minimum of 115 grams of protein, but I've been mostly going over that. Like I'd have to go look back at my chronometer, whatever app. And but yeah, I've been tracking my protein and fat every day, and I've added more protein. So to that lunch, which is like usually a couple hard-boiled eggs, you guys, Mike Shaw, do not fall out of your chair. Mike, are you holding on? And anyone else who knows me, I just know Mike knows this. I have eaten a can of salmon every day with my lunch this week. Like a can, and you see my face, like I'm not enjoying it. It's gross. But I've been eating a can of salmon. One day I had tuna and I'm like, okay, the tuna is grosser. Like the salmon is preferable. But anyway, the point being is that it's because my fat is plenty fine. Everybody knows I like my bite butter or whatever. Like my fat was good. But my protein, I think, was lacking. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Did you fall on the floor? Did you pass out in shock? You guys, I don't like seafood. I know it's good for me. I know it's got the omega-3s. Anyway, so I've been eating, a can of salmon with those eggs every day. And I've also added at night after dinner some of the Equip protein, because that is like, again, low in fat, but it's beef isolate protein. So like a half a scoop to a scoop of that to make sure that those protein macros are on point. So one example, so like here's one day that I did. So I did the 2 hard-boiled eggs, the can of salmon, a cup to a cup and a half of homemade bone broth. I don't know how to count those macros, guys. I made that make that myself. Ketogenic woman says, I don't count those. That's just bonus collagen. I was like, awesome. I'm going to quote Anita every time. It's bonus collagen. You don't have to count the bone broth. But anyways, and then I came home and I had a pound of ribeye with like a tablespoon of butter and then like a half a scoop of the Equip protein. So like I did that for a day. So that's like what's increasing as far as food would be like the salmon and the protein. But in this 1 week, I've put on 3 pounds, like in this 1 week from doing that, from adding that in. Yeah. Great. But my protein macros are on point. But my concern was I had already gained quite a bit of weight. I'm like, well, so this is fun. I don't know. And then I started doing the workouts that Coach Bronson. Now, a week is not long enough. I asked him, how long should anyone try anything? Like if you're going to do something new and like to do an N=1, and he said 6 weeks. So I'm committed to doing this for 6 weeks. But you guys, if I keep going at this rate, I'm going to be 15 pounds heavier in 5 weeks. Because I gained 3 pounds.
Not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Maybe not.
I mean, it depends on where those pounds are coming from. You know, I don't know how quickly you're going to build muscle, but it could also be some water retention. You know?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think it's, too soon to tell. Who knows what those 3, but like I said, I had already put on like 10 pounds since going carnivore in June. I had already put on 10 pounds. Now I've got 3 more.
Oh, but you also were running and exercising and all kinds of stuff you weren't doing before.
So I've been doing sprinting. I mean, my body composition scale since I put on those 10 pounds is telling me that it's fat. It tells me that it's fat. I'm like, I don't know how, but whatever. I mean, it might be. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, and who knows how accurate those things are. It's not saying that it's muscle. Yeah. It's not saying that it's water. It's saying that my body type is like, I forget what the term is, but like skinny fat. Because my fat percentage, according to that thing, has gone up. Now, who knows if that's accurate or whatever. I'm committed to trying this, what I'm doing for the next 6 weeks and see what happens. It's not easy for us women sometimes to watch that scale continue to go up. You heard what I eat. I think it's fairly, my wall is moving back and forth as my kid goes in and out of the kitchen. So thanks, Mike. See, this is what I need. I need some maybe, right? I'm hoping that's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to stick to it and like, who cares what the scale says? But that is sometimes easier said than done, right? Just when you're watching that number go up like that. So my workouts.
Men do that too, though.
What?
You know that men do that too, right? Men look at the scale and they go, "Oh,
yes, no." It's been a while. It's been a while since since I've had that perspective. Just kidding. I've never had that perspective. I can only speak from my own. But okay, so men do that too. Look at the scale and cry if it's going up. So
sure.
I hear it. So anyway, so my workout. So Coach Bronson talked about the super importance of rest days in between those workouts. And so what he suggested was to do a leg day, and on leg day, just super focus on squats, deadlifts, and lunges. So that's what I've been doing for my leg day. Tomorrow will be leg day for an example. And then he talked about like when you figure out how much weight you can do and how many reps you're going to do, you're going to work your body like really hard when you're doing that, but you're not going to do a ton of reps. You're going to do like 10 reps, 12 reps, whatever it is with like as much weight as you can do on those exercises. So I figured out what that was. I'm going to be posting a video soon. I'm not going to like get into all those numbers right now, but I figured out what that was. And then here's Pixel being all, if you hear Pixel meowing, sorry, she's freaking out. Anyways, so I figured out what that was. I did the leg day. The next day is like upper body. Now I should have asked for advice and I didn't. I was like focused on legs. So he told me those exercises. He did not tell me upper body, but I did some like shoulders, back, chest. that day. And then I did a rest day. Then I went back to leg day, upper body. And then now I've got like 2 rest days. Although today I did some flexibility. So this morning I did some flexibility stuff. Tomorrow it'll be back to leg day. So it's essentially 4 workout days, 3 rest days. But on that second rest day, I'm going to work on my flexibility. And then I also sprinted on leg day because I figured that kind of part of leg day. I don't know. So on leg day, I did the squats, lunges, and deadlifts, and then sprints on those days. So that's what so again, I'm just wrapping up week 1 now, going into week 2 tomorrow. And then the whole point is, so tomorrow will be my 3rd leg day. And you either need to be able to up the reps or up the pounds. If you can't, you either didn't do enough work on the previous leg day, or you didn't give yourself enough rest. One of those 2 things has happened. But each time you do a leg day or whatever, like if I'm doing squats tomorrow, I should either be able to do a pound heavier or another rep. If I can't, I did it wrong. And I need to address that or whatever. So that's Coach Bronson. That was his advice. And I'm taking it. And I'm going to do that for at least the next 6 weeks and see what happens. So
when you say flexibility, though, what kind of system are you using for flexibility training?
So this morning I just did I didn't do a system. I was kind of like, I slept 8.5 hours. That's a lot for me. And I woke up feeling kind of like, groggy, but I'm like, I got to do something. I'm not just going to be lazy. So I just did some stretches that I've done with my students for PE. So just generally, like I stretched out my legs really well because I know I'm gonna do leg day tomorrow. So I did like toe touches. I mean, just reaching down and and then like stretching inner thigh, outer thigh, stretching quadriceps. In 5th grade, we call it the pink flamingo because you stand on one foot and hold your ankle. Called the flamingo stretch. I don't know the real names for these stretches, you guys. I'm an elementary PE teacher. We elementary teachers have to teach everything, including PE, even though we are not trained to do so. So there you have it.
That's safe.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
She said sarcastically. So yeah. So just I played sports in high school and stuff like that. So just I don't know, stretches. I have done some flexibility, you on YouTube. There's a channel called Fitness Blender that I like. And they have all kind of different workouts, so that they'll have like yoga or Pilates or flexibility or weights or HIIT, or they have like a little bit of everything. That's why it's called Fitness Blender. And so sometimes I'll throw on like one of their stretch routines and follow along with them. I don't know why. I just didn't have the mental, I feel fine now, but like I said, I slept 8.5 hours and woke up kind of like, who am I? Where am I? Oh, it's Friday. I got to go to work today. Get it together. Wakey, wakey. Which usually I wake up and I'm like, let's go. But yeah, this morning it was like, I was still in that sleep fog. So yeah, I just did a few stretches and called it good. I didn't sprint today. Wasn't feeling it, but I did sprint twice this week. I'll sprint tomorrow. Mike, I'm going to sprint tomorrow before we go live. Yeah, we're going live tomorrow morning for coffee talk. Mike says, when I was in elementary, we got to climb the rope to the top of the gym. I don't think they do that anymore. So A, we don't have a gym.
No.
And B, there's no rope. So no, we do not do that anymore.
Even if there were, it'd be a liability.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. And there'd be lawsuits. Like if we...
Yep.
So yesterday, this is a true story.
Got a hangnail. I'm going to sue you.
Correct. So yesterday, it's been cold. So our normal PE time is first thing in the morning for 5th grade. And it's been cold. So like 33, 34 degrees. And so we're not allowed to be out if it's 33, 34 degrees, because refer to what Matthew just said regarding I have a hangnail and they're going to sue. So we can't be outside.
Yeah.
So I know that's like warm to some of you where it's like 12 degrees. I get it. I'm just telling you, that's how it is here in Southern California. So if it's 33 degrees, we cannot be outside. at school. So we didn't take them out. And so then we had testing like all morning because, district mandated testing. Merry Christmas, right? What does every kid want when they come back from Christmas break? A test that takes 4 days. Why not? So we were doing that all morning. And then in the afternoon, we went out for because we had to make up our minutes because we're still mandated by law. Yes, I said law, to do 200 minutes every 2 weeks. And that is the only thing mandated by law. So math is not mandated by law. Reading is not mandated by law. History and science also not mandated by law, but 200 minutes every 2 weeks of physical education is mandated. There she is. By law. As you can see, she's all hyper. She's all hyper right now. She just ate her tuna a little bit ago. So we have to do it, right? So we were making up our minutes. And so yesterday, of course, I have this student who is very never wants to do anything, whether it's academic, active, whatever it is, right? And so the student comes and he's rarely at school. Like he's maybe at school 3 days a week. I think his attendance percentage is maybe 68% that he's been at school, not at school. The other.
How's he passing?
How's he passing? Because we don't hold kids back.
Never mind. Don't answer.
Do you hold kids back in Indonesia? We don't here. So I'm not going to tell you his grades. I'm just going to tell you we don't hold kids back. So anyway, he told me that he had a stomach ache because it was time to run. So I find that very interesting that it was time to run our 3 laps and then, a stomach ache just magically appears, right? And I said, oh, do you have a note? No. Oh, take off, kid. So guess who was absent today? Yep.
She made me run.
He made me run when I had a stomach ache, and now I'm going to be absent for a day.
Yeah.
So that child was not in my class.
At least it wasn't a hangnail.
It was not a hangnail. It was a manufactured stomach ache. Yes. So there you have it. So here's what they have to do for PE. I don't know what you guys have to do, or if you even know that because you're an ESL teacher, but so we have flexibility. So they have to be able to do this, and their fingertips have to touch, and then they have to be able to do it on the other side. And I know you can't see, but my fingertips can touch. They have to do that. They have to be able to do some sit-ups. Yes, thank you. They have to be able to do some sit-ups. They have to be able to do some push-ups on their toes. So not any kind of modified push-ups, full push-ups, girls and boys both. They have to be able to run a mile in under approximately 11 and a half minutes. Most of them cannot do that. And then they have to be able to do a trunk lift where they lay on their stomach and then arch their back, and their chin has to get 12 inches off of the ground. It's called the trunk lift. And then we take a height and a weight, and then we turn all that data into the state. Now, since 2020, if you know what I'm saying, since 2020, they have not required us to turn in any data. Shh, don't tell my students. We're supposed to do the physical fitness test, but we don't actually have to turn in the data. We just have to report how many students completed it. 100% of my students completed it, or 9. But if we don't tell them that 100% of the students completed it, they tell us to submit it again, so that 100% of the students completed it.
Oh yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
But don't turn any data because nobody wants to know that nobody can actually run or do push-ups or sit-ups. Just tell us that they did it and call it done. So we don't tell the students. We just tell the students, we have to do this test, and you have to be able to do this many sit-ups and push-ups and mile run, even though that nobody wants those numbers anymore since 2020.
So your students don't watch your channel, do they?
Most of them, no. They know I have it. They think it's good, but no. Sorry, I know that was a long tangent that I went off on, but I find it very interesting that all the stuff goes. So Mike says, oh wow, I had PE first period in high school. We would play soccer when it was 25 degrees. So fun. Yes, so fun. I'm just looking through here. So Susan is saying when it's 40 degrees or below, no recess or PE outside. Yes, that's how it is here. If it's 40 degrees or below, that's considered inclement weather. Yeah, and we're not. But then for heat, it has to be 100. So if it's 99 degrees, they can be running around outside all they want. It doesn't go inclement until it hits 100. So
I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah, I don't make the rules. It's the chief of weather. I don't know. It's a made up position. I don't know who makes
Mike,
those rules.
it's your fault.
So yes, maybe it's Mike. Maybe it's Mike. Is he the chief of weather?
Chief of weather. Yeah.
Hi, Susan.
He's our weather
nice
chief.
He is our weather chief. He's our weather chief. He probably would make those rules. He said that I had to do all of that and read, write, and do math. Yeah. Sandra says, I have horror memories of PE. Me too, Sandra. Me too. That's half the reason I played sports, because in high school, if you play sports, then you don't have to do PE. I would rather play volleyball or whatever and then not have to take PE. But it never hurt me.
I don't know about volleyball, though. That jacks your hands up real bad.
Well, I don't know. I had fun. I don't have any hand issues anymore. I had some stiff joints, but not since going carnivore. Managed to talk mom into letting me stay home or write a note to get me out of it. It hurt with pain. 20 years. Wow. 18. I can't even pronounce that. Spondylolisthesis. Broken spine. Wow.
Interesting. How did you manage that?
Yeah.
It's like
and then
car
Susan
kind of thing, or it's like spontaneous?
Yeah, let us know. We didn't have a choice. We had to climb the rope to the top. Yeah. The kids today
and push the buzzer.
The kids today think they have a choice, like in a lot of things. So like they're supposed to run their laps and they just walk them. But I mean, I guess what's the consequence? They get a minus on their report card. I don't think they care about that. So it's fine. They don't care. Because in 5th grade, PE is not a letter grade. It's like a plus check minus grade. So speaking of grades, we can talk about that. Yeah. First, I want to say quack to Rick. Hey, Rick. It is ducky time.
Oh,
quack, quack.
Hey, Rick. What's up, brother?
Susan said we had to play sports and do PE. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't. Ours is either or.
Well, UK is different.
Here you go, Matthew. Birth defect, predisposition, and overwork. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, congenital then. Okay.
My ballet teacher got me out of field hockey, told my gym teacher she didn't want my ankles damaged. I had to walk laps around the hockey field. We used to send kids around to do a lap, like if they were like naughty back in the day. Oh my gosh, I would get in so in trouble if I did that now. Like 20 years ago, we'd be like, you're talking about take a lap. You know?
When I first started here in teaching, punishments were actually a viable thing, right? And somehow that has morphed over to don't talk with kids, don't get onto the kids, don't be angry. In different places now. In some places you still see it, but in most places it's starting to be a little American clone over here. And I'm like, I have seen the slide of the way that students perform, and it's incredible to watch it just crumble.
Yeah.
And it all has to do with whether or not punishments actually matter. You know, if there's no discipline in the class, these are the things that we're looking forward to around here. You know, when I don't feel like it today.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't ask if you feel like it. You're going to do the test.
Right. Yeah. Here, it kind of depends on the principal, but for a long time, I had a principal that wouldn't let us even take. So it's been a long time. Like we can't take recess away. Like we're not supposed to take recess away, for example. So what teachers started doing is we would make like a fun thing. Like we're going to do this fun thing, but like if you're misbehaving, you don't get to go to the fun thing. So it's like not a recess. It's like you either go to the fun thing or you go to like the alternate placement thing. At one time though, for a lot of years, I had a principal that said you couldn't do that. If you had a fun thing, everybody gets the fun thing. So you literally couldn't take anything away, but somehow yet hold high expectations. So, you know, it was pretty crazy. My principal now is okay with that. So like we can create, on this day that, you know, we're going to have this fun thing happening. But if you don't do all your homework, or if you are misbehaving, or if you get in trouble on the soccer field, because they always seem to get in trouble on the soccer field, then she's okay with us saying, you know, and they know ahead of time, you know, and they sign a contract and stuff. So, you know, that does help. So, hey, Nicole, thanks for popping in. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Nicole.
Okay, so let's get back to what we were
Great to
talking
see
about.
you.
So I know we took a school. We talked about school, and you got two teachers up here, you guys. So we took a major left turn into the weeds. Now we're 40 minutes in. I don't know how long we've been talking about school. A long time. Yeah. See.
That's how it works. You get a couple of teachers together, man.
Sounds like the teachers are talking shop. Yes, Simpson, but I'm about to get us back on track. So here we go. Matthew, I just told you about my workout. 4 days a week. I have leg day and upper body day with plenty of rest days, 3 rest days. What are you doing? I know like a long time ago, you were doing like pull-ups. I'd see you doing pull-ups and push-ups, but are you doing any workout type of stuff now?
Well, just like I had said before, what I intend for my channel and for my experiment is to push as far as I can and see how far that actually is over and over again. So I'm not doing any set workout routines, right?
Okay.
And I just figured my little n=1 can be whatever I make it, right? And so I drill as hard as I can into my push-ups and see how far I can go in the next time, right? And my recovery is still pretty good. So I can usually do push-ups every day or every other day. Yeah. And so my set point now for one set of push-ups at a time is, last I checked, 38. Right.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to get a video of that just yet, but I will. And hopefully I can push it a little bit further. Right.
Yeah.
So I can do. I missed it.
I said I would love to see that video.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It is coming as soon as I can get it. The logistics of that hammered out. But apart from that, let's see. I can do 6 pull-ups in a set now, and a little rest in between here and there. I can do a couple of sets. So I think in a day I could probably do between 12 and 15 pull-ups. I can't do that all in one set yet, but we'll get there. Right? I still have not been able to do a muscle up yet, and I don't know that I'm ever going to, but we'll see. Other than that, I started doing exercise with the university group. They play badminton, and so I've started learning how to do that. Not that I'm really great at it, but I'm getting there. They seem to say stuff like, hey, you're doing a great job, but they've been doing it a long time. So I guess if I'm actually keeping up in any way, I must be doing something right. And I just got back into Taekwondo over there at the university. So that's a new thing for me again. Right. And I was able to not die doing that. So those are all really great things. Yeah. But as far as a set goes, like what you're doing, I'm not even trying.
Yeah. And I had not been doing that. So to Simpson's point here, so Simpson's question is, are you still hula hooping, Cristie? So the hula hooping came in because I started doing the challenges. So my first challenge was my sprint challenge in September. I went to squats and push-ups. I did planks. I did hula hooping, all because that was all because I generally am like you, Matthew. I can't, it's like too many hours. Like I can't stand there for an hour and just be like cranking out sets of stuff. Like, no, I get bored. I can't do it. When Coach Bronson was like, look, squats, deadlifts and lunges, I'm like, okay, that's 3 things. Like that's not that many things. So I've been timing how long it takes me to do. And even with like the resting in between and going outside and sprinting, it's like 30 to 35 minutes. It's not horrible. And then, but here's the thing, Simpson, is that with all of those challenges, I do still incorporate some of those things sometimes, but like when I'm doing a challenge for that month, I do that thing like every day for the month. And I can't just keep adding on. So it was like, I never fully gave up the sprinting. I'm still sprinting 2 to 3 days a week. And so then eventually something has to go. So I haven't hula hooped in a while. I'm looking around so my hoop, I don't think you can see it. It's back there. I like that hoop better. The weighted hoop that's like a regular hula hoop. I probably will pick that up again at some point. The one that's like a smart hoop, It's kind of a pain to like take on and off and like fumble around. I just don't like it as much. So I think if I hula hoop anymore, it's going to be with that weighted hoop. And so I haven't hula hooped in probably a couple of weeks. It's probably not something I'm going to do every day, but you know, sometimes I pick it up and just like, I'm just watching a YouTube video anyway. So I might as well stand up and watch it while I'm hula hooping, you know, but making a concerted effort. And then also because when I'm doing those challenges, I do try to add on. And with hula hooping, I got to a point where I'm literally hula hooping like 12 minutes each direction. And then we're getting into like boredom territory. Like, how long can I stand here and do this? It's like a long time, you know? I can see myself picking up that hoop and busting out, you know, 5 minutes each direction. Now that I'm like kind of condensing it in, to your point about push-ups, Matthew. So I want to do like the 3 sets. And so I can't do 3 sets of push-ups on the ground. So, but I've been using my coffee table. Now, to be fair, I need to measure the height of that thing, but I think it's about 18 to 24 inches. It's a coffee table. It's like low down because wall push-ups are way too easy. Countertop push-ups are still kind of easy. And also my countertops are perfectly squared off. So it kind of digs into your hands. It's like not that comfortable either. So I find I do like, so I did, I think the first day I did upper body, I did 3 sets of 10. So 30 like push-ups on that, you know, propped up on my coffee table, which is maybe, like I said, 18 to 24 inches. And I was actually pretty happy with 30. That was pretty good. And then I did 11, 3. I am typing this all. I made a data table, you guys, so I wouldn't forget it all. I can't remember if it was 3 sets of 11 or 2 sets of 10 and 1 set of 11, because it kind of changes. Like each exercise is a little bit different. You know what I can do, but anyway, yeah, I think it's called a smart hoop, D. So it's like where this is what it looks like. It looks like a belt. The belt stays tight on your waist. And then there's like a weight that swings around the belt. So the whole hoop doesn't move. The hoop is tight. And then the weight swings around as you do the hula hoop maneuver. And then it counts your reps and stuff. That part's kind of cool. Say that again, Matthew.
Is that cheating? I said, is that cheating?
No, it's not cheating, because that you have to get that. It's actually harder. It's harder to get that weight around. Like people that can't keep the hula hoop up find it, I mean, easier in some ways, but you have to like work harder to keep that weight swinging around. I found. Maybe it was slightly different motion.
I'm not good at hula hooping, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just enjoy the ease of the other one because it's just a giant hoop. You step inside of it and you go. You don't have to like buckle, like figure out the little snaps and like, yeah, just easier. Yeah.
What are the actual benefits to hula hooping? I mean, like, does that really do something for you or not?
Well, it's a weighted, the hoop I have, now I can't remember. I think it weighs 3 pounds. So it does take some like waist. You definitely are using your, you know, your muscles on the sides. What are those called again? On the sides of your body, you know, to keep that weight up. Yeah, obliques. Thank you. You're definitely using your obliques. So Simpson says, I do 4 sets of 50 countertop push-ups, but I know what you mean, Cristie. I actually do put on my oven mitt. Oven mitts, smart. I only have 1 oven mitt. I have an oven mitt. I have a single oven mitt. I could take turns protecting my hands. I have like just regular pot holders. I have regular pot holders. I could use a pot holder and an oven mitt maybe.
Gloves, socks, anything would work.
Yeah. True story. But I'm good on that. I mean, I think I'm good on the coffee table, and it's a little bit more challenging because it's lower. Like it's a lot lower than my counter, you know. But I do, when I'm cooking, I do bust out some countertop push-ups or some squats when I'm just waiting because, you know, it's boring. It's boring just waiting there for a steak to cook for, you know, I don't want to leave the steak because it's only going to be 5 minutes or whatever before I have to flip it. But yet I don't just want to stand there. So I'll do some squats or I'll do countertop push-ups or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's a Bruce Lee philosophy there.
Is it? I didn't know that. Is that what he...
Yes. No, it's recorded that he would do that at parties. Like he'd be standing in the doorway doing calf raises in a party.
There you go. There you go. Sandra says, I don't do my push-ups on the floor. I use bench and table, 225 lots of 8. That's a lot of push-ups. That's a lot.
True.
Yeah. One-handed push-ups, Cristie? Yeah, I don't think so, Mike Shaw. Back at you, Mike Shaw. One-handed push-ups. I'll flip it around on you. Don't even start with me. Sandra says, I put a folded tea towel for under each hand. Okay. See? I was just like, this hurts my hand. I'm going to do it anyway. You guys are all smarter than I am.
With something like a tea towel or something, though, I would be worried about it sliding. Something that's very cloth.
Yeah, maybe a bit slippery. Well. Anyway, I don't know. Dee says she read that about Bruce Lee also. Okay. All right. Okay, so Susan, when I am done here, so it appears that Susan has started a channel. I'm assuming her channel name is that. Hashtag UK USA Lady Meat Lover. Is that your channel name, Susan? Because I'm gonna go find it when I'm done here. And go sub up.
Somebody got a link?
Or put the link. I think I do allow links in the comments on my lives. See if you can put the link somebody, and I'll go do it right now. I just hate to leave you all and go try searching for Susan. So yeah, if you link it up, even better. Yeah, Mike, 2 points reversal. That's right. I'll just throw it right back at you and tell me to do one-handed push-ups. I'm just messing.
Not that I wouldn't want to see that.
Well, I'm not even going to say maybe someday, because I really don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I really don't think so.
I'm not aiming for one-handed push-ups either.
No. So talk to me about, thanks, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. It's not going to let me click on it right now because it gives me the option only to like show the comment, but I will put it up. So there we go. So thank you. So talk to me about, you mentioned that you eat mostly beef, you said, and chicken, and what was the other thing? I think you said beef, fish, chicken, and fish. Okay. So you eat fish. So what does that look like where you are, and like for shopping for those things? Do you guys what does that look like in Indonesia?
In Indonesia, you get lots of different kinds of meat. It's not very complicated per se. And they have open markets and night markets and street markets and grocery stores. So you get basically whatever you would want. Ground meat tends to be slightly expensive, so I don't eat a lot of ground beef, but we can get cuts of meat especially the night markets. They're cheap. So we get maybe, let's say, 10 pounds of beef at a time for equivalent of about $30 in that neighborhood.
Okay. So what kind of cuts do you have available then?
Shoulder mostly. They like shoulder around here. Also, they do a lot of the muscle meats from the legs. So get sirloin, get some top round, stuff like that.
Okay.
Mostly stuff I would turn into steaks,
Oh, okay. And so do you do that? Do you buy it like in big pieces and turn it into steaks?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I tried that. It was an epic fail. Like, it was not good. It did not work out. Because, okay, so, around Christmas, the standing rib roast go on sale, which is like, the ribeye, but all connected together. And like, don't laugh at me. Okay, you could laugh at me if you want. It was kind of funny. I could not find, I kept trying to find the spot between the bones. Like, it looks like there's bones and there's like spots, and then you try to cut through, and then you like hit another bone. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, this cow has ribs that are not straight. I don't know. I couldn't do it. So I ended up just freezing it. I just ended up cooking the whole thing like a roast. I bought 4 of them, and I didn't end up cutting any. I didn't try all 4. I tried one, and I was like, well, if I can't do this one, I can't do the other ones either. So I just froze them all, and ended up cooking them like a roast, and it worked out fine. I just cooked it kind of rare. I cooked it rare because I like it rare. But then that way, because it was a lot, like 2 of them. In fact, I think I have one left that's like about 10 pounds. One of them was like 9 point something. And I think the 10-pound one is still left. So it was a lot of meat, even when my husband eats it too. But like if you cook it rare, then at least when you refire it, you can get like a medium rare and it's fine. It works out fine. It worked out fine. It was fine. I did not think that it was going to be that hard, but yeah, it was not as easy as people on the YouTubes make it look. I couldn't find the spaces between the bones. Like I found where, and then I like cut down. I'm like, that's another bone. Like I can't, whatever. I couldn't do it. I gave up.
Interesting.
I froze it and cooked it like a roast.
We don't really have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get that particular cut, so I couldn't make any comments on it.
I'm sure it was operator error. I saw it all over because that cut goes on sale and all the carnivores get all excited, right? Because it's like cheap ribeye and you just like cut it into steaks and like, I'm like, sweet. And then, yeah, it didn't for me. I just could, I don't know. And then the two that were smaller, I got two at one store that were smaller. They were like 5 pounds anyway. And there's bones in there. So I'm like, I'm just going to cook all that. It's fine. It was like the bigger ones that I wanted to cut into steaks. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a butcher. I'm not a lot of things. I'm not a cook or a chef. Apparently I'm not a butcher either. So it's fine.
Who has time for all that?
I don't. So just cook it as a roast and call it a day. That's my philosophy.
Yeah. You just bring a flamethrower and just, there, it's done.
I had a chuck roast for dinner tonight. I don't know what you guys had. I know Matthew has not eaten dinner because it's breakfast time where you are, but I had a chuck roast, which I had not had in a few months, and it was really good.
Sounds good. Chuck roast.
Do you usually eat breakfast, Matthew, or do you wait and eat later?
Well, I usually tend to not be very hungry in the mornings. So if I do eat in the mornings, it's usually a couple of eggs and a piece of chicken, something like that.
Okay.
But I really rather wait till later in the day to eat.
Okay. And do you eat? So you said do you normally eat? So you eat a little bit in the morning and then one more meal. So kind of like me. That's like what I do too. I eat like a smaller meal and then a bigger meal later.
Well, it depends. So some days I only eat 2 meals, but I often eat 3 meals still. So
okay,
pretty usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Susan, I'm jealous. She says
although that may be a little too much.
I mean, maybe that's why you're at a stall, or maybe it's because that's what's so hard to figure out. It's like, am I gaining weight because I'm supposed to be gaining weight? Because if I knew that for 100% sure, I'd be fine with it, right? But maybe I'm gaining weight because my macros are off. You know what I'm saying? That's the hard part about it. That's the hard part about it. Like if you could just know, like, I got to gain these 20 pounds and then it's going to be fine because that's what I need to do, I would be fine with it. But then you start to question it. Like, is this happening because that's what my body needs to do right now? Or is this happening because I'm eating too much of something or eating, whatever? I'm not off plan. Like my food is on point. It's all meat, eggs, and bone broth, but yeah, I mean, that's the part that's difficult. But I'm jealous, Susan. She says the rib roast, the bones were cut off and just tied to the bottom. I mean, what? Why couldn't they do that for me? I'd been so happy. I'm going to ask them next time. No, I didn't because I didn't know I could.
You guys break this down?
Yeah, I'm going to have them do that next time, I feel. So that's like a year away now. That sale happens like at Christmas, like around Thanksgiving and Christmas. They go on sale a couple times at that cheap. One store, it was like $5.77 a pound. It was a great deal. Yeah, I'm gonna get a point to like take it to the butcher and do it. Take it to the counter or like say, go back there and say, I want one of these, but can you break it down for me and see? And yeah, I agree with that. Mike says that's super cool. And that bone broth. Yes, I save all those bones. That's why I do buy the bone and ribeyes, because I save the bones and make bone broth out of it, which is like so easy to do. Who knew? It's like super easy.
Going back to the macros for a moment though.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So a lot of the people in the carnivore space, especially when I was first starting out, they would say, you just eat as much as you want, eat. You're never going to gain any weight just eating carnivore. Yeah, that's not true. So be careful of that. If you guys are just starting out, you really can overeat on meat. It is possible, especially in fats. I had a meetup with Craig Emmerich, and really kind of changed my position on that, because at first I thought, you can eat as much of this as you want, you're not going to get fat. And he explained that, if you eat a lot of fat, it's still going to activate the Randall cycle and you will gain weight. It does happen. So be careful then. You actually do need to know how much you're consuming. I don't use the word calories because of Bart K, and he's been my mentor for a while now, and stuff that he'll talk about calories. And I don't even use the word anymore.
Yeah.
But mass matters, and how much you put into your body is going to make changes in it. So do be careful then. But it's all n equals 1. You have to figure out what your balances are. If you're going to bounce between here and there, and how you're going to get it to change is really going to be up to you.
Right. So I'll tell you, like, today was not a good example because I ate a little different. I don't always have like chuck roast. I usually have like a ribeye or chuck eye. So like yesterday, so it was 100. My protein was high. It was 154. But like Erin, Erin used to be low carbist, currently brewing Better Living. Her protein macro is 160. She's like, I'm doing 160. So I'm like, all right. And then my fat was 136. Then the previous day, my protein was 127 and my fat was 126. That's more like that's like kind of what I'm shooting for, like kind of equal and like, between like 115, 130 based on what Coach Bronson said. The previous day to that, it was protein 136 and I had some extra bite butter that day, you guys. So my fat was 142 that day. 125 and 100. So the previous day to that, 125 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat. And then 118 and 126. So that's kind of how my week has been. But I put on 3 pounds.
Pretty equal. It's pretty equal.
Pretty equal and pretty like on point to what Coach Bronson was saying about the 1-to-1-to-1, looking at like your lean body mass and the grams 1-to-1-to-1. So who knows? I don't know. I worked out what I was supposed to do. I ate what I was, supposed to eat. Maybe those are, maybe those aren't. I have to stick with it for 6 weeks, to see if it's going to be good or bad for me and then make tweaks. But yeah, it's hard. It's just really hard to know. Really hard to know. Yeah. To Sandra's point, she says bone broth has a lot of fat. The homemade bone broth does have a lot of fat. The problem with trying to record that, is you don't exactly know because you made it yourself. So it's very hard to like record macros. I drank bone broth twice this week, but the bone broth that I pour towards the beginning, those have a lot more fat on the top. And then as you keep going down the jars at the end, there's less fat on the top. So I must have grabbed like 2 jars. There was a little bit of fat, but just a really thin layer. The other jars have like a 1/2-inch layer of fat on the top, the ones that you pour first, from the batch. But I did have 2 jars of bone broth this week. I did put it in, but the macros in Chronometer have hardly any fat in the bone broth. And I know mine has more than that, but otherwise I don't know how to put it in there because, it's homemade. So
you enter it manually?
But how do you know how many grams it is?
I think you'd have to screen it out and weigh it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, you get bored too easy. I know.
So Mike, I mean, like I can still wear my size 2s, but they're tight, man, because I told you I've been gaining weight since I went carnivore. So I gained 10 pounds and now I gained 3 more this week. So they're fitting tighter.
Though, because if I were going to answer that one for myself, my clothes still are getting looser, even though I know that my weight has changed the same or even gone back up. So I think it's just the bone density and the muscle density for me has changed.
Yeah. So I took measurements at the beginning of this whole new thing I've been doing, right? After speaking to Coach, because I've been gaining weight and I'm like, I got to do something. Like, I just got to do something different, like doing the same thing since June, at least the way I feel mentally and all of that, it's night and day, which is why I'm not changing, right? Like, I feel so much better. I have so much more energy, all that good stuff. But my weight has done nothing but go up since I started. So I'm like, okay, let me get like intentional about my macros, which I haven't really done at all. With some advice from a person who knows what they're talking about, like Coach Bronson, right? So I did take measurements. And we'll find out. I mean, I don't think in a week, that's really gonna make a difference in a week. So I gotta wait another few weeks before I measure again to see if that's, how that's gonna change. And also 3 pounds is not gonna make that much difference in the way my clothes fit. But I'm just saying overall, from like June until now, I mean, I can still wear the same size, but it's just they're tight now, whereas before they fit. That makes sense, So I don't know.
Sure.
Don't know, but like I feel great mentally. I feel great. I have energy. When I try to eat less, I feel crappy. If I try to say, okay, let me try to dial back on the food and see if the weight starts to go back down. I feel like starving and hungry and, lethargic and like I need food. So that can't be good, so who knows? I don't know. I'm not an expert, you guys. Not an expert.
You know Maria and Craig Emmerich, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for that, what they do is a couple of days out of the week or sometime here and there, what they do is called protein modified fasting. So
protein sparing modified fast. Yeah. Yes.
That, right.
Yep.
Have you given that a shot or no?
No, that is not something I've tried. I'm not against trying it, but right now I'm trying this. You know what I'm saying? You can't try all the things. So yeah, I have not tried that.
Yeah, not all at once.
So right now I'm working on this. We're going to see at the end of 6 weeks what it looks like. I have another interview scheduled with Coach Nat, who is Coach Bronson's, partner, girlfriend. They're both fitness coaches. So I'm looking forward to getting her input, after doing this for a few weeks. So stay tuned for that interview because I'm like, okay, Coach Nat, here's what I'm doing. Here's what happened. What do you think I should tweak, if anything? Get some more input that way, but it's not that I wanted to lose more weight, but I didn't want to be gaining 13 pounds. You know what I mean? So, but this is where we are.
Good point.
Yeah. So anyway, D is killing it.
You had a lot of pain though before, right?
I did. It wasn't a lot of pain. No, yeah. I had acne. So like the physical things I had were like acne really bad, which is gone. I had I think what was arthritis probably, although not diagnosed, in my right hand especially, and also my right knee would like squawk at me a lot. Like if I even had tried to do squats or anything like that, my right knee would not have been having it. If I tried to like take stairs, my right knee would have been very mad at me. That kind of stuff. And then my ankles and feet would like swell every day, like kind of like how they did when I was pregnant, but I was like very far from pregnant, right? Those were most of the physical inflammation symptoms that I had. And I don't have any of that stuff anymore.
Okay, so did you like get a DEXA scan or anything to try to figure out your bone mass before you went carnivore? Because it may be that you were just really light on the bone mass.
Yeah, when I did I did not have a DEXA scan, but when I did my pre in September, on my body scale that tells all those things, although again, not super accurate, but my bone density went up in the month that I sprinted. So that month that I sprinted every day, I did lose weight, but I was sprinting every day and my body was mad. I was sore every day, but my muscle density went up. I lost a couple of pounds. I lost a 1 point on the visceral fat, but I sprinted every flipping day. And I was sore it was hard to walk every day. Like, I don't want to live like that. And so I dialed it back to 3 times a week. And I haven't really changed much else. Like, I eat when I'm hungry. I stop when I'm full. I'm still, my diet is basically the same as far as, the eggs and the beef and the, butter occasionally. Not a lot of dairy. I don't eat a lot of cheese. I mean, cheese super occasionally. Maybe once a month, if that, that kind of thing. Yeah, my diet really hasn't changed, but yeah, sprinting every single day definitely changed the weight, and then I stopped sprinting every day, and then I think I pulled a quadricep too right at the end there. So I didn't sprint for like 3 or 4 weeks till that felt better, but then I went back to it, and now I'm sprinting 2 to 3 days a week plus the other stuff. So I mean, I've been exercising, it just hasn't been sprinting every day, you know. And then after I stopped sprinting every day, that's when my weight started to climb. Yeah. And if I tried it, like I said, if I try to fast or slow down on the food, I get like miserable, you know, hungry, like can't function, like brain doesn't want to work because I need food.
Yeah.
Well, Dee says I do so much better.
Reading that one, I interrupted you.
Yeah, not counting calories. I do best on 1 to 2 meals daily, if not fasting. And when the food doesn't taste good anymore, I stop eating. Last weigh-in was 75 kilograms. Thank you for translating that to pounds, 165 pounds. And at my heaviest, I hit 300 plus pounds. Yeah. I mean, that's until this week when I started tracking I'm not tracking calories. I don't care. I'm tracking the protein and the fat to make sure I'm getting enough protein. And what I found was my fat, I think, was on point. But the first day I tracked protein, I was like, dang, my protein, you know, and so I added the salmon and I added the, you know, the protein powder just to get the protein up there a little bit more, you know. So
that protein powder is pure protein powder. It doesn't have any additives or preservatives or
so it actually does. So they do make a plain one, which is just beef isolate protein, but I did buy the chocolate, which has a little bit of stevia and cocoa powder. So it's like, it's beef protein isolate, a little cocoa powder, and a little stevia. But I already, I do like chocolate element or whatever. I do that. Yeah. But I've been doing that the whole time. It's not like I added that and then the weight gain started, you know?
No, I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah. So anyway, Mike is saying that I hardly lost any weight, but my labs were pretty great. So I'm not stressing still. Yeah. Right. It's frustrating when you're like, you know, like in order to eat enough for my brain to feel right. And like I have energy to function. Like how long am I going to keep gaining this weight for? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in the next 5 weeks. Susan is saying, and yes, you're right. Who knows? This is my lifestyle. So who knows where my body will decide to stop and maintain. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now, Susan.
Yeah.
Dee says, so probably keep on keeping on. The hardest part is getting up after taking a stumble. Yeah. And here we are, Mike. This way of eating gives all of us the best chance of being our best selves. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying for. I'm just going to keep making tweaks. I'm not like too stressed about it. I don't know if, I'm not happy, but I'm not like, oh, I got to like starve myself and I'm going to quit carnivore and I'm going to, you know, going to fast for a month. Yeah. I'm not doing any of that. And I'm not, you know, going off the deep end.
I'm going to clip that and use it.
Clip that.
I'm going to quit carnivore.
Don't you dare, Matthew. Oh my goodness.
A lot of our tribe does that, you know, this little clickbait. I'm quitting carnivore.
No, because I, you know, I'm mentally sharp. I'm getting great sleep. All those other mental benefits are like so amazing. It's like, I feel like this other stuff is like super minor and either I'll figure it out or my body will. Between the two of us, either I'll think my way into it or my body will just figure it out. One of those two things is going to happen, right? So I'm not that stressed out. I just like to,
though, that's been a big deal.
My sleep was horrible. I mean, horrible. It's great now. It's great now. And I wake up feeling refreshed. I don't wake up feeling, you know, when is the next time I get to sleep? Darn it, I'm awake. So when's the next time I get to sleep? That's how I used to wake up. Well, it's only 8 more hours, so I can take a nap. That'd be the first thought in my head. How sad is that? Okay, this is for you, Matthew. This chat was not confusing at all. Matthew, would you like to clarify?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, for those of you that were not live with Matthew yesterday, I happened to see Matthew live yesterday, and I rarely catch him live. And I was like, oh, Matthew's live, because he's 15 hours ahead of me. So like our schedules don't often mesh. But I was up at 4:30 in the morning, which is not unusual for me. He told me to go back to bed, but I didn't, because I'm usually up at 4:30 in the morning. But yeah, I caught him live, and I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what Matthew's got going on. And he was talking about, favorite movies, and I was just kind of sitting there, listening. And then as I was listening, we had this live scheduled, and so I'm thinking, oh, I should probably go in and get the description written for the video. And so I don't know what possessed me, but like in the chat of that live, I said, so Matthew, what should we talk about in our live? And he's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. What live? And then we went into a 20-minute, Matthew was confused about time zones. Nobody knows when the live is. Can he make it? He had forgotten. He didn't put it in his calendar. Am I getting this right, Matthew?
Yeah.
Speaking of turn.
Mostly. No, you got it mostly correct.
We got it mostly corrected. It turned out he was able to make it, and I'm so glad. So yeah, it worked out. But yeah, I apologize profusely to the other people. I was like, I'm sorry, you guys. I had no idea he forgot that we had I thought he was just like, oh, let's talk about whatever, and then we would move on. But no, that's not what happened. I hijacked the entire live for 20 minutes talking about time zones. Because Susan wants to know, where do you live, Matthew? Tell her again.
I live in Surabaya, Indonesia.
There you go.
I live in Surabaya. So it's in Southeast Asia. It's far removed from the States. Very far.
Yeah. And he teaches English as a second language, Susan, to students over there, which is fantastic. I'm glad we figured it out too. And it was just total providence, I feel, because otherwise Matthew he didn't have it on his calendar. He didn't put it in there. So I would have been here live going, Matthew, where are you at?
And I would have rushed around, getting set up. I would have done it. I would have.
Yeah. He would have got on eventually, because I would have messaged him and been like, get over here.
You left me hanging.
You left me out, just hanging out to dry. D says it's the jungle. But yeah,
part here, part there.
Yes, we did make it through that. We made it through, and we are all here now. And I'm glad Matthew could make it, and it all worked out. But we had a confusing 20 minutes. I was like, no, it was us. We did have one scheduled. He was like, we did? I'm like, yes, go check your Instagram.
And I did. I'm glad.
And he did.
That's where I got that lovely thumbnail. Yeah.
Yep. And then he remembered, oh yeah, she sent all this to me. It's all good.
Yeah, it really does tweak me out, because I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, there's already a thumbnail and everything. And then I had to scroll back through that and say, oh, I sent you a picture. We had this full conversation about doing this day. And blink.
I mean, to be fair, it was over a month ago. It was like December 4th or something, because to get our schedules to mesh up was not easy, because 15 hours is like a weird difference. It's like a weird difference, because when it's night for me, it's morning for you, and then you're working, and then I'm not, and then I am. And yeah, it's weird. Okay, yes, let's talk about monkeys. Mike Shaw would like to know, how many types of monkeys do you have around, Matthew? That is a great question, Mike Shaw. Inquiring minds want to know.
Okay, well, as a resident monkey expert, I can tell you I have no idea.
Do you have monkeys? Are there monkeys? Have you seen monkeys?
They're not in my front yard or anything, but yeah, there are, in fact, monkeys here, and there are wild monkeys, and we have several kinds. I mean, when you hear the word orangutan, this is where the word came from. They have them here, And it actually means forest person, or man of the forest, orangutan. Forest people is actually what their name means.
I mean, you're laughing about the monkey question, but to be fair, I have seen 0 wild monkeys. So the fact that you have, I've seen a monkey in a zoo, right? But I've seen this many wild monkeys. So that's fantastic that you can see wild monkeys. And a follow-up question.
They steal stuff, though. What? Dinosaurs.
There's a follow-up question. It's a joke. Okay, what do the monkeys steal? We are talking about monkeys now. What do they steal?
Okay, so
Shiny things?
we went to well, it depends on what they want, really, because we went to this, what was it? Ooh, I'm trying to struggle for words just now. It's not a reserve, really. It's more of a national park, right? We went out to a national park, and they have monkeys, God, so many trooping monkeys, yeah. And we saw people on motorcycles, park the motorcycle, they walk off for a little ways, and the monkeys would clamber over their motorcycle and look for stuff to steal. They were stealing water bottles and bottles of tea and helmets, and like, what in the world is the matter with these guys?
They're just
Yeah, monkeys are
fascinated with.
nuts.
It's like, you know, that movie, The Little Mermaid, where she has all the human trinkets. It's like that. They just want human trinkets
Yeah.
to admire and
They'll
adore.
bite through the bottles.
Sing about.
They bite through the bottles. They don't know how to open them, but they will bite through those things
to get the liquid out. Wow.
Yeah. They were trying to drink sodas and teas and stuff out there.
I don't know if Rick is still here because he hasn't commented in a while, but Dia's saying there are very large lizards in the yard. Because Rick with his iguanas, right? So are we talking like what size lizards are we talking here? We have little tiny lizards.
Well, we have water monitors here and river monitors and Komodo dragons. The dragons don't live on my island, but there are very large monitor lizards here. They are bigger than iguanas.
Right. No, I don't think I want to go visit you. Do you have spiders? Because
sometimes there are hunters out in the front yard.
I don't like lizards or spiders. Do you have spiders? Like big spiders?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, don't say. It's because you want me to come visit someday, and you know if you tell me the truth, I won't come. That's why. That's what it is. Okay. So Susan is asking because she said thank you for sorry Susan, because he said at the beginning, but you probably just missed it. So thank you for recapping that for Susan. She says that's so cool. Are you a missionary or married to an Indonesian? I'm sorry if you would rather not comment. No worries. Are you okay answering that?
No, I'm both. Yeah,
he's the bold carnivore.
I'm actually both. I'm a missionary. I'm both a missionary and married to an Indonesian. So I came here to work with a church school, and I got married to an Indonesian here, and that's how I stay here in Indonesia now, as I've transitioned from working with the church because of some government restrictions that have come down the pipe. So now I teach in a school. So that's it's a private school, and before it was a church school, so it's slightly different. But
okay, there you go. I did not know that. That is a new fact. I did not know that that's how you originally went over there. That's cool. Okay. So Carrie L says, back to your sprinting. In order to reap the benefits of exercise, you need to take time to recover. You were over exercising if you were sprinting every day. Yes, I was, Carrie, which is why I definitely have cut back. So that was in the month of September. Before I had done a lot of research into the whole sprinting protocol and all of that. I currently am sprinting 2 to 3 days a week. This week I sprinted 2 days. So like when I do my leg day, which my leg day is going to be on Saturday and then Tuesday are leg days. And then I sprint on those days. But then the other days I'm either doing upper body or just straight up resting. So yes, I am definitely doing that recovery time now to see how that is. And recovery means to rest until there is no soreness. So at least 2 to 3 days if needed. Yes, absolutely. So after that first leg day, that was something I was kind of wondering about is like, so I was sore after that first leg day on my rest day. And then the next day when it was going to be leg day again, I was like, ever so slightly sore. Like I did leg day anyway. It was like barely sore. It wasn't not sore, but it was like barely still sore. And I'm like, all right, I think I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So, I went ahead and did it. I don't know if that was too soon, if it literally has to be like no sore. It was mostly gone, but maybe it was a little twinge. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm like feeling it out, but Yes, I understand the importance of rest in between. I'm learning that, and I'm taking it to heart. That's sometimes hard for me, but I did 4 workout days this week and 3 rest days this week. So,
Not bad.
do you ignore earthquakes if they're under 6.0? My answer is yes. In California, yes, we do. Those are just, that's just,
I would have to say yes.
If we have a 4 or a 5, it's like, oh yeah, and then we go on, we move on.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we're in the Pacific Ring of Fire, and
yeah,
I missed it.
Oh, if the chandelier or whatever is swinging back and forth, you just kind of go, okay, ceiling's not caving in, moving on, and we just keep keep doing it, keep doing life.
Same for us in Asia.
See if it's gonna get, if we need to leave the house or not, and then you kind of go, it's fine.
It's exactly the same for us in Asia over here. We just, we wait and see. If it doesn't really start collapsing around us, it's no problem.
How often do you usually have an earthquake? Like, obviously it's not like a regular thing, but like ballpark, how often?
Oh, it's pretty regular. Over here in Indonesia, they're basically daily quakes. It just depends on,
daily quakes
your
you can
area.
feel, because yes, there's daily quakes in California, but not that I feel.
Oh yeah, no, you're not going to feel every one of them. And then again, it depends on your area. So it's sometimes going to hit like way over there, and then sometimes over there. But tsunamis are pretty much a constant concern, And
giant
earthquakes are.
Tsunamis. Yeah, I'm far enough inland, I don't have to worry about those. But we probably have an earthquake we can feel once every year. Maybe we'll have an earthquake that it's like, oh yeah, well, and then you go look it up. Oh, that one was a 4.8 epicenter, wherever it was. Okay. You can usually hear them coming. That's a trip. So you hear them coming like a train. You go, oh. And then it happens fast, but like your brain can process pretty quickly. So you have just enough time to think, oh, here comes an earthquake. And then your house starts to shake. You hear it before you feel it. I don't know if that's how it is over there, but that's how it is here.
I can't say I've ever heard one before we felt it, but sometimes I'm standing still and I watch stuff start rocking back and forth. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate the support. It's good at least that you are doing something. Cheers. Yes, that's right. I'm figuring this out as I go, working on what's going to be a benefit to me. So I appreciate that. Hi, less junk, more health. I always love that. I love that handle so much. I know I've told you that before, but I'm going to say it again because it's a good one. So, well, Matthew, we've been going at this for an hour and a half. Is there any final thoughts? Did I get it all in there? I wanted an update. I feel like I got that from you today. Is there anything?
We really kind of plowed through all of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we did. We plowed through all of it, I believe.
Awesome. Well, it's cool that we did this one live because, I think, did you even post our last one that we did? Like, you were going to edit it and get it posted. Did you ever even get it posted? You guys could see it on my channel. It was October the 1st. I posted it.
Well, Cristie, it's been lovely. I'll see you next time.
I will take that.
I haven't.
Yeah, see.
I haven't, but like I said, my computers have been so weird. Like it's still on my personal computer right now, but I've lost 2 computer screens, and I have no idea how in the world this keeps happening. My original computer, an Acer, by the way, if you don't know, now you know. Don't buy Acer products if you expect it to work well. And right now I've got a new Asus, and I just bought this thing to replace the Acer that the screen broke out of, and now the screen is broken. So
terrible.
Anyway.
Yeah, technology is half the battle on this YouTube, experience that we're all doing here. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming in. At least it's not an e-machine. I remember those. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. It was nice to see you. If you want to watch me again tomorrow morning, Mike Shaw, Aaron, and I will be live 7 a.m. Pacific time. or 15 hours later than that for you, Matthew, in Indonesia. Or
I'll try to catch it though.
Yeah, or 10 a.m. Eastern if you're over there. So hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow morning for Coffee Across America. Until then, bye, everybody.
Awesome.